Oh boy, don't you like it when you can turn something around? Like how we turned Eve around and how the world got turned around by itself, and now we have all of this weird stuff that we'd only see in Wally. Like we'd only seen this in Wally before. But it's even worse. So let's get right into this video, and we're just going to learn about whatever I said we'll learn about in the thumbnail and a bit more in the end, and that's only for those who stick around. So if you do, you'll catch it. Boom! Yeah, brother, I'm back, and this is kind of like take 3, and I have my desk light switched on too so that you don't see the darkness when it's dark. And yeah, this was what I draw in this morning with Tim McBurney Sensei's drawalong videos. His name is Goblo, and I don't really know much of why I drew him. Maybe it was so that I can teach you rotations. I don't know, man. But this guy's face, it feels like a solid candidate to put in a video. So we're gonna take this Rizzy man and put him and try to rotate him for a demo. I have some surprise coming up for you later. First, we're gonna have to get done with the demo. You're gonna see a time lapse, and I want you to actually try and grasp what's happening. That's all you have to do, okay? Welcome back, brother. This is 8:15 in IST, so it's essentially 45 minutes before my bedtime. And in this 45 minutes, I hope to finish teaching you, which is a lofty goal that I have set for myself. Yet I will try my best. So first, let's put away a sketchbook. You tried to grasp what we did with Goblo, right? So were you able to grasp it? Well, you have to wait for the others. Let me pause and be back with the materials to teach you, okay? Right now, I've got my desk lamp situated in such a uncomfortable position for this recording, so let's make it fast, shall we? Okay, first of all, I wasn't able to find anything circular huger than this, so do you think it's super cheesy if I use this guy's, you know? Wait, we'll zoom out so that you can see his arse bigger, actually smaller. So now we're zoomed out like a little bit so that the main scene is in focus. No, this isn't huge enough. You know what? I'm not gonna use his arse because that'll look really yucky. We're gonna go back to the red thing. Yeah, now let's start the demo. Oh, it's actually perfect measurement. Wait, let me like fix the lid in. So yes, I think you're beginning to start to see the gist of everything. First, you can see that this edge over here, right? This aligns with this part of this circle. And this, it kinda aligns with this part of the circle. Just imagine it actually did. And this too, this part, that also aligns with the circle's edge. And this too aligns with the circle's edge. So what happens if I rotate it over this circle? So what it does is it never pokes out of this circle because the circle circumscribes this form. You might be like, well, duh. Well, that's exactly the realization you need to have for our visualization to work. Now I'm going to show this to you in a different angle and you'll begin to understand what we're doing in this video. Now I'm going to rotate it again and imagine that this circular thingy fully circumscribes our form. Like, can you see it coming out, this rectangle? No, right? That's exactly how we rotate. So you see, this circle, we constructed in the perspective grid using the previous squares and ellipses method we learned in the last video. We didn't learn the ellipsis method, we only learned the square. Yeah, actually. So we're going to use that square method, construct a circle, and by that, rotate our symmetrical form that is going to be circumscribed within it. We're going to use 2 circles or 1 circle depending on how sophisticated I'm feeling today. So let's get into the better part of this demonstration, which is actually doing it. Hello man, this is Monish from the far future where I finished recording the whole video. I realized that I kind of forgot to record a sequence where I taught you how the circle could be used. So first, just draw a perfect square as I do. It's quite easy if you refer my previous video. I teach how to do that within the first 5 minutes of the video actually. That will benefit you if you want to follow along right now. So why is it a circle and why not any other shape? Well, you'll get your answers man, but learn to be patient first. We're going to finish what we started here. And this, my friend, is a partitioned square, right? So what we're going to do is draw a circle on top of it. You know how arcs are like approximated in the perspective grid, right? So since this is an approximation, this is not going to yield us 100% accurate results. You could draw another square in a different angle and you could use that, but I think that's too much work for a demonstration, man. Like, come on, please. And that, my friend, is how you construct the circle. And once that is done, once you've approximated the circle inside the square, you can use it as a base to develop more circles on top of. I've shown you in the previous video, right? Like it was shown in the first part. Maybe you need a refresher, so I'm gonna give you that. Okay, you see right now there is this ring in front of you. Wait, this is somewhat of a circular face, right? And when you look at it from the side, it looks like it's a line here. And when I take it towards the right side, its left face is revealed. Can you see here? Yes, I think you can. And when I do it towards the left, its right face is revealed. And, well, what is that? What does that have to do? Well, it has everything to do with what we're doing right now. Let me show you. When we pushed it to the side, one face showed up, like this, didn't it? And when we pushed it to the front, one other face showed up like this. And we pushed it to another extreme edge, a face similar to this one showed up. So now all we've got to do is fill in the middle parts. You can also do this for every other circle. I don't know why it's easy with ellipses, but this approach, if taken properly, can yield you really good results. Like, look at this, brother. I'm gonna draw a very warped family of ellipses and I'm going to attempt to circularize them. There we go. You've seen that and you're gonna see more. Like this is the top half, this is the bottom half. So filling in ellipses is like a very easy thing to do once you know the stuff that's going on in the back. And what I want you to do when you're rotating is try to add in a random circle on up top. It's okay if it's approximated. We're not going to use 100% accuracy in all of our comic books anyway, or any stories that we ought to make. And this just makes it easier on yourself and less demanding of work. And that means you can put in more motivation into the story itself. Let me like fold it a little bit more. Yeah, I think this will suffice for this demonstration. I'm going to add in Yet another ellipse that's close to this. So what you can do is use this horizon line as somewhat of an ellipse itself and approximate till that. And over the horizon line, you can approximate it yet again in the same manner. Okay, now we have a perfect approximation of two circles circumscribed within a cylinder. Now we're gonna actually try and rotate something, because you're going to have to practice with me something, right, before we get on to the amazing wall E that we're going to draw today. What? You say? Yes, we're gonna draw wall E. So this edge ought to be one among the many branches of this tree, but I'm going to chop all of it off in my imagination and just use one. And I think this is going to suffice for us now. Okay, this is angle 1 and we're going to rotate it to position 2 here. You see how it snaps to each place, right? Like it became shorter once it moved to this side. All of these, they are basically like symptoms of everything being correct in the perspective grid. Like this being larger than this is because this plane is closer to us than this far side. And like so, we can construct more and more and more. And you can see that it becomes smaller the further it goes away. And that is correct. It's not contradicting anything. And as we rotate it this way, along the circumference of this weird ellipse that is also a circle, we'll be able to make ourselves a perfect rotation. So I think I have explained everything clearly, if I say so myself. And now let's get on to the more interesting parts of this video, where we draw wall E. Yeah man, I've got 6 pins pertaining to this thing called wall E. I think you've heard about it, and you might as well have watched it a few times in the past, right? So right now, we're going to be drawing from this circle, essentially wall E. And we're going to be rotating him in a few different directions. So, what do you say? Do you want to get on? I think you do. Let's do it now. The first is this reference here. I think you can see it clearly. I want to draw wall E plainly as he is, just looking straight at the camera, emotionless. That's what I would have said if I was freaking woke Pixar. Like the recent content, man, I used to be such a fan. I watched Strange World with so many expectations, and what they give me in the end was literally a shit story. Like I didn't like it anyway. But I think the stylistic choices they went for Buzz Lightyear and all of these, they had a lot of potential. They wasted so much potential, man. So there are 2 triangles at the edge of wall E's butt, for a lack of a better word. If you think, hey, how the hell are you freehanding the grid? That's illegal. Well, watch my previous videos. I think, no, I said that in the last part. I'm sorry. I did not say that yet here. I got frustrated for that. So, Wally seems to have like this mini crushing chamber inside of his stomach, for a lack of a better word. What should I call it? Processing chamber. Food processing chamber. Yeah. And he's got wheels that are like conveyor belt wheels. Okay. So the biggest wheel is situated on his back most place, and the smaller wheels are situated at the front. I don't know for what specific reason it could be, although I am a science student. For the namesake of it. But I kind of like physics though. Yep. So I'm gonna use the perspective grid to check if my perspective is correct. Oh shit, I forgot this. This is the problem with freehanding. You're like really close to the accurate thing, to the level where people know that it's the accurate thing, and then you start breaking down the image, and the whole image breaks down with the breakdown itself. Like everybody will be like, such a nice image, I'm gonna break it down, it's gonna be my reference for the day. And then they're like, oh shit, when it doesn't align with their grid. Kim Jong-ji, he did this kind of thing where he split the infinite areas. You'll know what I'm talking about if you watch the first video. And then that ended up kind of like, you know, in such a positive way that when even the great Ethan Becker tried to, not the great, when Ethan Becker kind of like tried to break it down, the pictures didn't break down. Like, he makes a lot of mistakes, but he hides them so well that you'll never know he made a mistake. Okay, his hands look interesting. Like, you know these JCB vehicles, right? Like, you might know these JCB vehicles. They're like these construction machines. So I think that's where this inspiration has come from. And there's a space between his conveyor belt parts and his stomach. We're going to have to respect that. So they've designed this character in 3D, and that's why it looks mostly consistent. I think all of us can take that in as a good point and try to incorporate more three-dimensionality into our forms so that when we end up making a rotation in our comic book, it doesn't suck as bad as we think it does. Okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and that is nothing else. We're just going to add the hand. How does the hand look? It's a little bit lowered, and that is like this. What shape? I can't really describe it properly. For lack of a better word, I'm gonna call it like, oh no, that's not the place where the arm is. The arm is positioned up front. I think I got where they got the inspiration from this character, for this character. So for Wall-E, their inspiration must have been something like, you know those lift trucks, right? Those must have been the inspiration. He looks like an old and rusted lift truck. And I think we are nearly done. Oh, we are kind of close to done. It's crazy when you think that Pixar movies went from talking about serious problems in the world, about like saving nature, like actually not being gluttonous and all of that, to something like body positivity. It's okay to be blah blah blah. I couldn't say the whole word, otherwise YouTube would have like censored me. See, this is the correct, that era of Pixar, man. Invincibles, all of that stuff, Cars, love that shit, man. No, I'm not gonna call it shit. Loved that amazing work. It deserves to be called that. Okay. Oh, I'm drawing as right as is left. No, I'm drawing it right. This is part of his form. So Wall-E is a really complex form, and I picked him for the demo because if you are able to finish Wall-E with me and are able to stay on board, you'll pretty much be able to break down anything. I thought I'd give you something at the end as a bonus. Maybe tomorrow morning after the workout, maybe I'll try. So I failed the lofty goal I set for myself, didn't I? Ah shit, right? Maybe it's better to like give whatever I thought is valuable than just making a soulless video. Wish. Disney. So I think more indie films deserve a lot of attention. I've been watching this one YouTuber called Natalie Flynn or Lynn, something like that. And I looked at this short film called Borderless, and oh man, it got me inspired. Like, I came here and I frantically drew a page with a composition that looked like it was not drawn by me at all. So if you turn to watching indie films, you'll get the same feeling when you watch like Invincible as a child or something like that. Because after they stopped for making stuff that is just like crap, these indie creators, all they are fueled by is passion. They're like the opposite of what Disney and Pixar are right now. But DreamWorks, man, I don't know what's in them. Like, what's running the show for them? We're gonna write Wall E here. And they made an AI after this robot. Bro, I freaking hate what OpenAI is doing with their thing. Like, they started this whole issue with Midjourney and all of this stuff. And I know that the guy who might have started developing Midjourney would have started developing a long time ago. But the blame has to go somewhere. Yup, that is Wall E in one angle. Have you drawn it with me? Were you able to align all the perspective grids? And were you able to align the wheels with me? So, as you remember, this guy is like this here. So, we're going to rotate him and we're going to position him in a straightforward angle. No, he's already in there, in that angle. We're going to rotate him 90 degrees. Not essentially going to step into the midway rotations because that's going to get you into more complications. It'll create more problems than it solves, okay? Now, let's get back to the soothing talk and practice. Don't let your mind know that you're practicing. It sometimes plots against you. Like, you know what? Just have a normal conversation with me. I'm not even gonna say anything. Okay. Where were we? We were trashing Pixar and then complaining about them making woke films, right? Oh, I shouldn't have said that word. Shit, I might get censored. Who cares? Okay. If they ask me to censor it, do you know what word it was that they censored me for? Yeah, this is Wally in a different angle. Oh man, I've gotten faster at drawing Wally somehow. Oh god, I'm faster. So 90 degrees is a really easy thing to do with cubes, but if you do like the midway angles, 45 and so on and so forth, that's where shit becomes kinda complicated. Remember, I only said kinda, so it's not really that complicated. It's 15 minutes already. Screw time, I guess. Maybe we'll finish this third one in tomorrow. And right now, we're just going to do two. I told you about the worst music, right? No, that was a previous take. I didn't tell you. So, the background music you're hearing right now, like the three bell sounds, that plays every morning, 4:45. And I have to wake up at 5 o'clock. They deprive me of 5 minutes of sleep, and when it's 9:45, they'll play it again. It's so freaking tiring, but I have to keep hearing it. This is just becoming a rant. I'll stop. Well, we'll assume there is no music in this background. You're not hearing any music. I'm trying to brainwash you to thinking that now. Okay, now I'm gonna finish my Wally illustration. Have you finished yours? Oh shit. Wait, I'll pause it for you. It's gonna get worse. Okay, man, I kind of changed the angle. Let me change the focus too. It's kind of boring. Right now, I am back. And oh boy, where was I? Maybe one day I won't be in a place where I have to listen to this music that they play in the name of God to disrupt everybody's sleep. Like seriously, man, they play one at 9, 10 o'clock, and then they play one back again at like 4:45. It's so disrupting. Like, what do they expect us to sleep for? 7 hours? What am I gonna be? A guy who's gonna, you know, pick up trash in the street? Yeah, anyway, I've just let all that out. And we're gonna finish drawing Wally in the second angle. The third one, I have decided to make it a midway angle. Since I noticed that it's only been 12 minutes and time has been an illusion in my eyes while I was giving you guys commentary. Okay. Okay. We'll have. This is like a really crude version of Wally that I drew before, such that I can finish drawing him again and again in a very short notice of time. I could have drawn him with better design. It's not that I chose not to, it's more of like how much time you can spend with me, right? You have other things to do with your day, and all that other things, all those other things. Okay, now that's nearly kind of done. Oh, yeah, that's a good illustration. At least in my words, I'd say so. Let me. No. Then I'll have to rotate that too. Now, we're gonna bring wall E to a midway angle. And hopefully it isn't too hard. Like, let me trace out the edges of the square so that I don't forget them like I did for Goblo. You did notice that the third angle for Goblo wasn't as accurate as the first or the second, right? That was because I did not trace out the squares properly. Now I will hold wall E like this. And he's gonna be placed in a midway angle yet again. And oh god, it's going to be freaking hard to do this. Oh no, he's actually a square, so I think it wouldn't be much of a problem. Maybe it's gonna be like my famous last words. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, it's working. Oh, this is not in line with the center point, right? So this is going to have some kind of depth. This is also something I messed up for Goblo. I made a quick square, like the one where you reflect this part on this and that becomes a square. If you want to make a really cool dynamic illustration, don't do that. It spoils it. Here is yet another angle change, a strategy that most YouTubers used for audience retention. Okay, how is your sketch going, bro? Have you made a few changes here and there? Have you tweaked anything? It's fine if you haven't made a lot of progress too, because okay, I want you to think of this as like two rice balls and a Rubik's cube, which has all its colors stripped off, and maybe you can work that way better than what you're doing right now, if you're having trouble with that. So why am I using this circle for rotations instead of an ellipse? Why is a circle any better than an ellipse? If that's your question, then I have an answer for you, man. Because if you use a circle, your rotations are going to be like 360 degrees. Imagine you have your character here. And let's even say he's unsymmetrical. If I rotate him along a circle, he doesn't get warped. Like this is one rotation, this is a rotation 2, and this is rotation 3. I know all of this sounds really mathy. I'd have to go into radians and all of that to explain it in more mathier terms to you. But I wouldn't like to make you sleep like my last year maths teacher did. Don't worry, man. Your boy's got a solid C. and nobody would like to see that. This has just become my copium at this point. I should stop trying to cope. Ah, where were we? The Dali illustration. No, the Wally illustration. What the hell am I saying? Don't mind the music in the background. Think of it as like white noise. Think of it as like water sounds drizzling from a hold box. Okay? And yeah, that is wall E in the third angle. As I have said, we're nearly done. No, Wally's neck, like that thin little strip, right? I made that strip smaller so as to have his head be under the horizon line. I mean, when you're looking at Wally, you're usually not smaller than him, even if you are a baby. So the horizon line is going to be above his eye level. Ah, yeah, I'm gonna teach you that as the bonus tip. This is not like the bonus tip. This will be too lazy. It's gonna be an extension of this. You're gonna have to wait for that. Wall E. Yup. Wait. How lazy can I be to forget the hands, man? Like a lot of people say hands are hard, but I'm going to tell you something. Let me get out that visual dictionary that I have sitting around in my closet. Uh, this heavy piece of shit. This is not a piece of shit. This is an amazing dictionary. I will correct my words. I am sorry. I have used that word far too often after hearing it on the internet. Like a spoiled child would. Sorry if that vibrated you. Let me do another camera change so that your attention span remains. Yeah, did your attention span come back? Well, if it did, nice. So here you see this kind of hand anatomy, right? What I want you to do is to get a specific anatomy book. It doesn't have to be anything special, just one where you have the scientific stuff. If you understand the bones behind it, like the bare bone stuff behind it, you'll be able to understand everything. Let me set the focus. 2 seconds. Yeah. Where were we? We were at the hands, weren't we? Okay, let me get back to hands. Zahando, Sawardo, Esokeyasu would remark. If you watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you'd know. Okay. You may think of me as this random anime geek who's making YouTube videos, but I'm really not. That was like a phase of my life, bro. Anime kind of helped me overcome that. And I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and watch a lot of anime. I know how that's been. It's better to watch movies, like sometimes. You won't even get addicted to them. Like most of the movies, they're not addictive. And mind not the fan noise in the background. Count it as white noise, okay? Oh no, this angle is screwing me up. I never draw straight ups. I think it's showing. So I'm so used to drawing dynamic poses that I can't draw a normal pose without flow like this. Oh god, this is horrendous. My over perfection demanding side essentially wanted me to go and shut off the fan, so I did. I'm back. What part of Wally are you drawing? I kind of drew the hand first time and I kind of messed up very miserably. That was mostly because the torso needs to be more thinner, right? I've got on to work on that. Man, if you like just take a second and go out and come back, you notice what flaw made the whole picture a flop. You can fix it so easily, right? I don't know if it's just me or how it's supposed to work. Okay, so it has this stripy pattern on this side, right? Now the thing about Wally, at the end when the captain fights that AI, do you think it'll happen in our humanity thingy too? Like some random captain dude fighting the AI for like control back over his desires and time. This is like a more stylized version of Wally's hand. I'm not even allowed to call it a hand after what they've done. Okay, I found out the contraption behind it. So there's like this knowledge of how the pieces go together in physics and physicality that if you understand, you can make way more out of just a single reference drawing than other people can. So that's how you can reduce your references, I think. Were you able to rotate Wally with me? Were you able to put him on different parts of this circle and take to constructing that circle in 3D around Wally? Oh shit, I didn't teach you this. I'll just add a part in the back of this, like with an edit. Me saying, post editor Monish here. I think you'd have seen this. Okay. One hand is a normal hand, and another hand is like two hands. I don't know why it's there, but it's there. There's also like a screen on his chest. This is like this was like Pixar's golden days, man. Wall-E, and every film they made, I loved it. Like there was no woke agenda behind each film. It was just there to tell a story of somebody's adventure. After John Lester and these people left, it's been looking very soulless lately. You see what I did there? That was a pun. Okay. We have drawn Wall-E in 3 angles, and let me check the time. How much time did it take me to teach you actually? No, by the way, it's past my sleep time by like 5 minutes right now. I'm not gonna record any further, I think. We will meet tomorrow, most probably. So, here's a cool transition to keep you occupied. Morning, brother. This is 6 in the morning, and I'm going to be using my ASMR voice for quite a while. Because if I don't, that'll wake a lot of people up, and I don't want to do that. And this is the journal entry I did in the morning. And after this, I'm just going to show you a few pictures, and I want to ask you how they make you feel. How does this picture make you feel, bro? Yeah, if you're saying that it kind of makes you feel safe, I think my composition skills have improved quite a lot from the past. Because that's exactly what I wanted to make you feel. By putting the eye level so low, like here, the line that is parallel to the bottom of the paper is usually called the eye level. And that level here is put so low that you feel like you're short, like this much short compared to this guy. He is safe, big, and can take care of you. That is the intent behind the image. So how does this one make you feel? Like you've climbed on top of a tree and everything feels just so out of the loop, right? Exactly, that's what I wanted to make you feel with this composition. That's because I put the eye level over here and the characters over here. So you feel like a giant or like somebody who's climbed up a tree. This, I've put the eye level a little bit above him because he's sitting and I wanted to make you feel like you're standing and observing what he's doing while he's warming himself up to go to sleep. And I'm going to show you one final example to, further your ideology, and that'll be about it. Here we have it. I've kept it in my drawer. So I've put the eye level exactly over the place where my eyes are in this picture, and this is like a self-portrait of myself if you're wondering. What does this make you feel? This makes you feel like I'm looking straight at you and we're going on a trip and I'm telling you our plans for the day after that with my mouth like that. That seems weird, but that's what I'm trying to convey here. So let me erase all of this bullshit and let me teach you anew, because this was for a previous take and that take was messy, man. I forgot to plug in the mic. That's what I mean. Okay, let us start anew. Let us take this picture for example. So this makes you, this shot feels personal. Why? Because your viewer is looking at the main character of your scene and he's talking with him. And the horizon level is his eye level. So you're looking at his eyes while you talk with him. So that way this scene feels a lot more personal than other scenes. Let me take this biggie picture here. Are you able to see everything? Yeah, I've quite verified that a few times by now. And this essentially makes you feel safe, right? That is because this man resting here, he's put on like a really high eye level, and you're put on a low level, and now you know that he'll be able to protect you if any danger was to arise. And that is essentially the idea. When you feel smaller than someone, you feel either safe by them or terrified by them, depending on how you portray that other person. Like, if the eye level was here, and if I drew him this way, and if I drew some sparks here, the eye level is still the same, but you're still terrified. So what gives this picture its feeling is essentially that the setting of the picture. You're in a room and you're looking at someone who's as big as your dad sleeping. You're making your viewer feel like a baby. And over here, you're making him feel like your equivalent. And over here, you're gonna be making him feel something different. Let me take that picture and explain it to you. Like, you're standing and he's sitting. So that's the meaning of this eye level. And this, my friend, is essentially you being very out of the loop and you standing out on a different place. It gives you a sense of like you trying to scout the people in this blank space in the middle, and that makes you feel as if you were a giant. If there weren't these trees, then how are you able to like climb, right? So that'll make you feel gigantic, or like some boy who's climbed on top of a tree and getting a high view. It'll feel very scenic. And the next thing that we can infer from our previous drawings is this: angles. So how does this make you feel? Like if I put a gun in his hand, it'll feel like he's shot you, right? Well, why does it feel that way? Because you're tumbling down, and when you're shot and your heart becomes kind of empty, you always tumble down. So it'll give you that sense of anxiety. And these were the last few things that I wanted to teach you with today's video. And were you able to analyze the images at the start? I don't know. You might be able to. But I think you understood what we're doing with each and every picture kind of completely now. So that's that. That was the final section of this video, I think. Now we'll go to the summary and I'll explain whatever we did a whole there. Wanna go? In 3, 2, and 1. Let's go there, brother. Yeah, brother, this is like take 5 of this shot, and I'm not really energetic, but let me try my best anyways. Okay, this is the last part of this video, and I'm going to give you the whole summary of what we did in this entire series of learning how to master the perspective grid. At first, you might have been like, I've mastered 3-point perspective. Nobody can stop me now. You must haven't been like that, but, well, you get my point. So let me take you through the journey we've been in these series and what you were able to learn to draw. Yes. If you can flip through the sketchbook, you'll see that we drew this Rubik's Cube, and we drew this scene here, and we drew this over here. Wait, have I set the focus right? Yeah, it was kinda crisp, but it's really crispy now. We learned how to do that, and next of all, we kind of learned how to rotate characters in the perspective grid, before which we learned how to draw voxels and squares in the perspective grid very accurately. So that is essentially what we did in all of this time. And I started this video off with a rotation of Eve, and we then rotated goblo, and then we drew wall E in 3 different angles after I explained to you the basics of whatever the hell is going on behind the scenes. I think you understand how you could do this, and that's mostly it. And then finally, I bombarded you with a couple of watercolor pictures, which included this and that, and so on and so forth. And I taught you how different eye levels worked, and how you should think of your camera as more of a person than just a camera to give your pictures a feeling of depth that is far superior than what you could give it otherwise, emotionally speaking. And that was the end of it, the gist of it actually. And if you have any other artist friends whom may benefit from watching this video or this series in general, send this playlist to them, man. They can learn quite a few advanced things here. Like, I don't see people on YouTube talking about these things every day, so I thought I'll take things into my own hands and post videos regarding those. And you'll see more series like this in the drawing lessons playlist, I suppose. Thank you for watching. My name is Monish. This channel's name is Monstar. Here is your well-deserved brofist for your amazing attention span. Bye.